Good evening. I'm Spot On Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler, and tonight we're going to take a look at an upcoming winter storm event for the Hampton Roads area, Southeast Virginia. So we're going to get right into what's going on. All right, so what we're expecting to happen over the next 48 hours is an area of lower pressure developing just the east of Florida and then coming up slightly north-northeast in its movement. This system is going to be a fairly intense system. If we zoom in, the pressure reading on that is about 994 millibars, and it's going to be dropping rather rapidly with a strong pressure gradient, a tight pressure gradient, strong winds wrapping around the low itself. At this point in time, we're showing you the 3rd of January at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and if we look into Southeast Virginia, you'll notice an area extending from a wintry precip area extending from South Carolina up through North Carolina, just to the south of Virginia Beach, but starting to pivot its way more towards the northwest. So we do expect snow to begin on Wednesday afternoon, and it may be initially mixed with rain and sleet at the onset. And I'll show you some soundings here in a minute. In the weather business, we look at these atmospheric soundings to determine whether we'll have rain, snow, or maybe a mixture of both rain and snow. I'll show you that here in a moment. We do expect the initial rain-snow mix, rain-snow-sleet mix Wednesday afternoon with the snow to eventually become all snow by Wednesday evening as the temperatures and the thicknesses drop. All right, so let's take a look at things here. We're moving on to the Thursday morning, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, overnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and this is when we expect the heaviest period of snow to occur overnight Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. At this point in time, we have 1,038 millibar highs situated over Minnesota. Clockwise flow continues to funnel in much colder air. The low pressure system now has deepened or intensified to 980 millibar low, sitting just off to the southeast of Virginia Beach at this time. The blue here indicates snow, and it is basically going to clip the coast, North Carolina up through southeast Virginia, eventually up to Delmarva area, the Delmarva Peninsula. So now let's take a look at some soundings, and this is typically what we use in the weather business to determine whether it's going to be rain, a mixture of rain and snow, a sleet, or just an all snow. So what I want you to pay attention to here, this is the time and the date on the left of this particular image. By the way, this is courtesy of Tropical Tidbits. This is their forecast soundings. So what we have going on here, the red line indicates your air temperature line with your sounding. On the left here we have the pressure millibar levels. So for example, 925 millibars would be between 900 and 1,000 millibars, and that's at about 2,500 feet above the ground. 700 millibars is 10,000 feet, 500 millibars is 18,000 feet, 300 millibars is jet stream level. On the right of each image, we have the winds and how they're changing with height. So I want you to pay attention to the red line is the temperature line, and then this green line is the dew point line. So you'll notice the circular area here, I circled it. The 32 degree line, 0 Celsius line, is basically this dashed line here. So anytime the red line goes to the right of this 0 degree Celsius line, right here, that's generally indicating an elevated warm layer. What is an elevated warm layer? It's simply an area of warmer air aloft that is greater than freezing or greater than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So you notice this red sounding line, this temperature line, just barely goes to the right of 32 Fahrenheit aloft at about 950 millibars, or that's approximately just about 2,000 feet above the ground. And this is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Wednesday evening. Over time, what's going to happen is you're going to have much colder air that's going to filter in to southeast Virginia. So by the morning, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is a snow sounding on the 4th of January. Here's your 0 Celsius line, okay? The entire sounding is below 32 degrees because your temperature, your red line here, is to the left of the 32 degree Fahrenheit, the freezing line. So we're completely all snow for sure by this point in time, overnight Wednesday night, as some of the colder air begins to filter into southeast Virginia. All right, so what does that mean? That means we could have we could have a mixture. We could have an initial mixture of rain, especially closer to the coast with the snow. Okay, and that's showing, based on this sounding here, turning to all snow. All right, so by 7 a.m. on Thursday morning, the snow is still coming down. The area of low pressure is intensifying. We are now looking at a 978 millibar low, and we do have a swath of snow extending from North Carolina, Southeast Virginia, up through Delmarva Peninsula, up through New Jersey, up into Long Island. Okay, strong north-northwest winds starting to kick in. The wind chills will start lowering. Another shot of Arctic air is following the system, coming down from the northwest. We are expecting dangerous wind chills, as I mentioned, dropping into the single digits overnight on Thursday night and Friday morning. All right, now here is the European model snowfall forecast. The total snow accumulation is 3 to 6 inches. There is some pockets of higher 7 to 8 inch snowfall amounts up towards Norfolk, 10 inches up towards Delmarva. This is based off the 12 Zulu run today on 1 January. You see this swath of snow, which is matching fairly well with the models. By the way, I not only am showing you the American GFS model here, but I've also looked at the Canadian as well as the European, and the track of the low is in fairly good agreement at this point. We are basically within 48 hours of the event, but you just see the swath of snow. It's heavier as the low deepens and moves further, basically up the coast, so you get a nice little swath of heavier snow. All right, so we expect major impacts to local schools and normal business hours on Thursday. This could possibly linger into Friday as well, because the temperatures are going to remain below freezing all the way into the weekend. So let's take a look at the winter storm final thoughts tonight, what we're thinking. We will expect to see a winter weather advisory, which will be issued by the National Weather Service in Wakefield. It's just a matter of time. Most likely, if not late tonight, tomorrow, you're going to see something put out by them. The European model is the wettest model. And I just showed you the European model here. It's got anywhere from 5 to 8 inches across the Hampton Roads area, Southeast Virginia. GFS is slightly drier, going at 2 to 4 inches. And the Canadian model is also slightly drier than the European, looking at 2 to 4 inches as well. So the snowfall with impacts on the roads is expected starting late Wednesday, the 3rd of January, lasting through Thursday morning, the 4th of January. And we expect the snowfall impacts on the roads to continue even beyond Thursday morning due to sub-freezing temperatures. Another shot of Arctic air comes in. High temperatures only in the 20s. Friday and Saturday, closer to 30, but still below freezing. Melting is going to be very minimal over the 48 hours following the snowfall. We are expecting the total snowfall accumulations for the Southeast Virginia Hampton Roads area to be 3 to 6 inches, with locally higher amounts to 7 inches. Now, one of the biggest question marks that remain, the final amount of snow. This is going to be dependent on the period of rain, snow, sleet mixed at the onset. All right, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on things the next 24 hours to see if there's any other elevated warm layers coming in. The 5,000 foot temperatures, what are those projected to be? Usually in the Hampton Roads area, you want 5,000 foot temperatures to be -5 Celsius or colder. There is a brief period where those temperatures are going to be ranging between 0 and -5. It's just something to keep a close eye on. So the snow amount will be dependent on how long the mix occurs at the onset. Snow will remain on secondary roads through at least Saturday, making conditions slippery for travelers. Temperatures are not expected to rise above 32 degrees to readily melt the snow until at least late Saturday. Again, that I can't emphasize that enough. It's going to be an impact, especially on secondary roadways. The major interstates will most likely be pre-salted by VDOT, and then most likely they'll be cleared, but the side roads are still going to be very slippery, so please use caution while driving on the roads. We do see reinforcing shot of Arctic air on Thursday, the 4th of January. As the low departs up to the north-northeast, on the backside, counterclockwise circulation, here comes another surge of cold Arctic air. These thickness values are going to crash. All right, and then high temperatures, and during that period, the 4th to the 6th of January, will only be in the lower, as cold as the lower 20s, ranging to the upper 20s during the day, with low temperatures dropping into the teens at night. Wind chill values, we cannot overemphasize that enough. They're going to be dangerously low into the single digits on Friday and Saturday mornings. So again, bundle up everybody. It's looking like a cold first week of 2018, and then we have a snowstorm to boot for Southeast Virginia. So now's the time to start thinking about preparations for Thursday. I'm thinking mainly the school day on Thursday, possibly into Friday morning, depending on the roads. Also local business hours, prescription medication, pharmacy type things, doctor appointments. Just something to consider for Thursday and Friday at the end of this week. Moderating temperatures are expected. They will rise into the 40s for high temperatures beginning Monday, 8 January, which is getting more closely to our normal high at this time of the year, up near 48, 49 degrees Fahrenheit. So again, a very cold week, extremely well below the normal values for this time of year. And it's very chilly out there today on New Year's Day. Temperatures have struggled to even make it to 25, 26 degrees today for a high across Southeast Virginia. And it's a very stinging type north-northwest wind out there right now. All right, that wraps things up. We'll keep you informed on the latest. The latest model runs will continue to come in over the next 24 hours. Again, everything is dependent on the track of the low pressure system or the storm system as it moves up this coastline. Okay, if it moves a little bit closer to the coast, things could change. We could have higher amounts. If it's further offshore, which we still have a little wiggle room time, could move further offshore just slightly, then we'd have much less impacts. The snowfall amounts will be much lower. But as of right now, what we're expecting is total snow accumulations 3 to 6 inches across Hampton roads, maybe some locally higher pockets of 7 inches. Again, we'll keep a close eye on things. And remember, we're spot on weather. If we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. Have a great evening, everyone.